Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique better, stronger. Let us build this place better than we met it. And with the circumstances that we are now dealing with, existing in, we must strive to build back better than before. We have to become more resilient as a nation, understanding our location geographically, understanding that we are now more exposed to stronger hurricanes. We are now more exposed to more disasters, more natural hazards. So we have to now build accordingly. And you know what made me smile yesterday is when I heard our beloved Prime Minister said, we can't just go back and repair, renovate, rebuild the same way that we did before the passage of Hurricane Beryl. We have to build back smarter with a different code, right? That is so important, with a different code. All right. Yeah. Hello? 1 minute. Let me just see here. All right. All right. Just trying to get you. Okay. All right. Hello?
Morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. You're not on this morning?
On radio?
No, on Facebook.
Yes, I am on.
You're on?
I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube. Yes.
Oh, I'm not getting you this morning.
Well, maybe you need to refresh your page. Go back on and you would see me. All right?
Huh?
Go back on and you would see me.
All right. Okay.
All right. Just refresh the page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes you have to refresh the page or you have to like the video. Like the video, love the video, so you can get notifications, because Facebook, YouTube, they kind of give some problems sometimes. They want to know that you're there and that you're listening and you're viewing. So sometimes you have to do that. Share the program. So every time I come on, you're going to get notification. So sometimes you have to do that. So I was saying we have to build back smarter. We have to build back understanding that the hurricanes are coming with more intensity, right? They are stronger and they are more frequent. So that was a really good thing coming from our beloved Prime Minister when he said, we cannot just go and shack up a piece of roof or just do something because we want to do it or we have the money to do it. We need to build smarter. So that message is key because there are some people who believe that everything must be done now. We need to rebuild the roofs and the houses now. Just do something, build some old thing, and it's all okay. Can't happen that way. No, it can't happen that way. You have to plan, you have to do things properly. So even people with their money, you have your money, you could rebuild your home, you could rebuild your roof. You need to still be cognizant of that reality. Times have changed because of climate change and because of where we are situated. We are affected the most when it comes to hurricanes. Every year, you can expect 6 months, 7 months to be that kind of moment. Looking forward to something happening somewhere, even if it's not Grenada, but somewhere in the Caribbean will be affected. So I am saying we need to build smarter. I remember a good friend said to me, when Ivan came, he decided to build his home, his house, with a concrete roof and put galvanized, same nice design over it. Well, I saw the Chinese doing that with the housing scheme, right? But he did that since Ivan time. That's 20 years ago, right? Let's say about 18 years, 18, 19 years ago. His roof was completely destroyed. So he went up further, second floor, and then he decked the second floor, and then he designed the roof with the same galvanized. It might be a little more expensive, but it was the same galvanized screws. He used screws instead of nails, and he welded the whole thing to the top of the building. So he's preparing. If hurricane comes, he would not be so affected. In fact, he was located in one of the parishes that were adversely affected by a Hurricane Beryl in Grenada, and he did not get one touch. Not one galvanized went, and his house is intact. So we have to build smarter. It is easy for people with the money to rush and go and buy this and buy that and get this and get that and start rebuilding. But you have to rebuild smarter. You cannot be doing the same thing over and over and over again and believe that the result will be the same. The result will be different. If you're doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same result or results. So there is this group of people out there who out to make political mischief. They're trying to say to these people, well, they need to give you the materials so you could rebuild. Okay, how would you rebuild? Would you rebuild the same way? Would you rebuild with the same design, the same everything? There are people who tell you that they paid people to build their homes, their houses, and less steel was found. These concrete structures just fall down, just like that. They paid them to build a roof, and they never, do it the right way, or the proper way, or the smart way, so that it can be saved. So you see, it is one thing to go through a disaster, and it's another thing to go through a disaster and learn, right? Or a natural hazard affect you and you learn from it, because you know it can reoccur. Every year we can expect something like that. So we have to build smarter as a people. So again, I want to say that was a very good thing from our beloved Prime Minister. In fact, I have it here where you were speaking about that, and it really moved me, because we have to become more resilient as a nation. We have to become more resilient as a country. How we build should not just be building any.
The Honorable Deacon Mitchell says the government of Grenada will oversee rebuilding efforts in the wake of Hurricane Beryl to ensure infrastructure is more resilient to withstand disasters. During a press conference on Tuesday, Prime Minister Mitchell said Cabinet is liaising with regional and international agencies like the World Bank, IMF, and CDB to get assistance in the rebuilding and recovery process. Hurricane Beryl ravaged Carriacou and Petite Martinique, with damage to a lesser extent on the mainland.
We cannot repair and build new or repair old buildings without ensuring that we comply with strict building codes that allows us to minimize losses arising from these hurricanes. We also need to appreciate that the hurricanes are not going away. All indications are that they will become stronger and that they will become more frequent, and as we can see, there is a real risk of them happening even earlier in the hurricane season. So part of our financing and recovery efforts must focus on ensuring that we build resilient infrastructure and that we build resilient homes and other buildings to withstand not just hurricanes, but all of the other challenges that we face in this part of the world.
Prime Minister Mitchell assured that the government is contemplating fiscal incentives to aid families in their rebuilding efforts.
We will not tolerate persons who are not impacted by this gaming the system or scheming or taking advantage of any fiscal incentives that the government will announce.
Additionally, he said Grenada is expecting payout from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility toward rebuilding after Hurricane Beryl. The facility is designed to limit the financial impact of catastrophic hurricanes and earthquakes on the Caribbean governments through short-term liquidity when a policy is triggered. CCRIF was developed through funding from the Japanese government and capitalized through contributions to a multi-donor trust fund by the government of Canada, the European Union, the World Bank, the governments of the UK and France, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the governments of Ireland and Bermuda, as well as through membership fees paid by participating governments.
Right, so that's very important. Very, very important there. Our beloved Prime Minister saying we have to build back with strict building codes and guidelines. There must be a policy in place saying this is how we're going to go about doing this. We're not going to just allow people to just build the same old way. You have to build differently. Things have to change. You know of people who experienced Hurricane Ivan and they decided to have an upstairs and downstairs. So if the roof gone upstairs, they can easily utilize downstairs in the meanwhile. Right? There are people who build upstairs and downstairs and they deck the top of the upstairs and then they put the galvanized and whatever nice design at the top to make the house look. You have to build smarter. You have to be on top of your game, knowing where we are located, and climate change is real and it's affecting us every single day, every single hour, every single minute, every single second. All right? There will be a cleanup in Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Implementation and transformation is undertaking a national cleanup drive in Carriacou and Petite Martinique on Saturday, July 13th and Sunday, July 14th, 2024. To register, interested persons are urged to contact Ms. Yvonne Gibbs at 415-0573. Volunteers must be 18 years and older and able-bodied, since many will be required to operate chainsaws and undertake heavy lifting. The Osprey leaves at 6 a.m. on both days, so volunteers must be assembled at 5 a.m. for departure. Relief continues, but the cleanup is critical to start the rebuilding process. Carriacou and Petite Martinique will rise again.
Right, very important indeed. So that's this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, they're asking for volunteers to go up to Carriacou and assist in cleaning up Carriacou. And that's a very, very good thing. So we want to encourage you to get on board, get involved, and see what you can do to help the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique. I am saying to you that good things are happening. You may hear on other platforms all kinds of stuff, but good things are happening for our people. Very good things are happening.
Is reporting success in the setup of a structured system to improve the distribution of aid throughout Carriacou and PT Martinique. Via telephone on Monday, MP Redhead said over the past few days, his team, with assistance from the Honorable Tevin Andrews, Minister for Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs and Local Government, worked tirelessly to put the structure system in place. This, he says, was necessary to ensure smooth management and distribution of relief supplies.
It is working well now. It is 100% completed in terms of the setup and the arrangement required to be able to man the operation there to put out or deliver the aid. One of the most important things that we wanted was to coordinate the distribution so that we are not being cumbersome in terms of how, or imbalanced more so in terms of where the aid is going. It is still a work in progress because we're still trying to sort that out. But ultimately, we have been in a position now where aid is going out as soon as it comes in, that sort of thing, because we now have people to package and distribute. The most important thing is to ensure now that the people who need the aid are getting it. So we're in the process of working out the mass communication system to go throughout the communities to say when the aid trucks are going to pass and to say where they are going to be. So at least people could begin to make themselves available. And those who are unable to walk to the food truck, so to speak, we are in the process to see how we could get men on the ground to ensure that we go to them, get the information, and then subsequently get aid back to them.
MP Redhead says essentially the team is very satisfied with the outcome of their hard work, though challenging circumstances prevail and there is a need for more hands on deck.
We are pleased to report that the issue of the distribution has somewhat been solved, and we are hopeful that as the days go by, things will only continue to get better. Now, on the other hand, we still have challenges in many other areas, and the most important thing now is the rebuilding, the reconstruction that is required to bring us not to some semblance of normalcy, but order, just to ensure that Carriacou and PT Martinique things could kind of function as it stands now, notwithstanding the aftermath of the devastation from Hurricane Beryl.
He says one of the major priorities is to get the debris off the streets and from the neighborhoods into one central location, as the present site of the debris from the destruction caused by Hurricane Beryl is depressing to residents.
Right, so again, good news there. They're making strides, they're improving every single day. So thank you, the Honorable Ron Redhead there. You're doing a fantastic job.
And Sewerage Authority has announced the recommissioning of all 28 water systems that were affected by the Category 4 Hurricane Beryl on July 1st. NAWASA's communication supervisor, Jamila Lewis, confirmed that the teams had to work to resolve issues caused by the hurricane's impact on water infrastructure.
On mainland Grenada, 28 water systems were affected as a result of the passage of Hurricane Beryl. As of today, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, I am very happy to report that all 28 water systems have been recommissioned and persons are receiving a supply. The challenge that NAWASA is having is that even with the recommissioning of those systems, we do have persons on high elevation that would receive water during the course of today, and for some persons as much as Wednesday.
Ms. Lewis says the company has since conducted comprehensive checks along its distribution network to identify and address any potential leakages in the distribution system that may have arisen during the hurricane.
NAWASA is also checking for leaks along the distribution network, which is very crucial, especially when a network has been down for a period and considering the level of damage that we experience along that particular network. So there may be some inconveniences during the course of the day and tomorrow.
Lewis says that restoration efforts will commence in earnest for residents in Carriacou from Wednesday, July 10th.
The Carriacou plant has been recommissioned that will enable plant production and distribution at the plant site. However, that will only be achieved via truckage. Currently, we have a 2,000-gallon water truck that was loaned to NAWASA by a St. Lucian contractor called Renault, and that truck is an island and will start commencement of distribution via truckage, of course, effective Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. A second water truck, which is an 1,800-gallon truck, will be loaned by the Barbados Water Authority, and it is expected to arrive in Carriacou during the coming week, and shipping arrangements are currently being made through Sedima.
The island of Petite Martinique currently has a temporary intake structure due to damage on the main. As it relates to Petite Martinique, Lewis says it wants to acquire 300-gallon water bladders to aid in water distribution efforts there, while work is ongoing in assessing the damages to the infrastructure to commence necessary repairs.
Efforts are also being made by NAWASA to acquire 300-gallon water bladders that can be mounted on the back of pickup trucks, and that will be used to distribute water in Petite Martinique. Once the plant is operational, distribution will be attempted via the existing distribution network. NAWASA will have a team on the ground to address leaks that may have been occurred during the hurricane, and once that is addressed, the network will be up and running by Monday, July 15th.
Right. So thank you very much there, Jamila. You're doing an excellent job. And NAWASA, they're doing an excellent job. You know, many a times people are quick to condemn, criticize, or say bad things because that is how they were taught. They were cultured that way. But when companies or individuals are doing good things, trying their very best, they are not commended, they are not applauded, they are not thanked. NAWASA is working their tail out to get things back to normal, and they are doing a fantastic job. Grenlec is doing the same thing. Grenlec is working day and night to get back, to that level where you have electricity in nearly every area in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. So we have to make it very, very clear that it would take time to get back to that state of normalcy, but boy, the authorities are trying their very best. They're working around the clock. It's not easy after a disaster to, quickly get these things back up and running. Look at Texas in the great United States of America. Millions of people without electricity and water and so on. Look at Mexico. Millions of people without water, electricity. The streets are still full of rubble and all kind of stuff of that sort from burial. Jamaica, they have their challenges too. And we can go on and on. So we are doing a very good job in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, St. Patrick, St. Mark. In fact, I want to agree with Clifford Bridgman because we don't agree too often. He's an NNP activist, but he was very blunt this morning on the Plea Due Cause program to say he realized the government is trying and they're doing a fantastic job, right? What's that effect when it comes to the post-disaster, disaster generally, the hurricane and what occurred in Petite Martinique, Carriacou, St. Patrick, and St. Mark? So sometimes you could take out your political hat and say it as is and face the reality. Look at what we have received in recent, maybe on that day, not recent days, but on that day, $118 million from the CCRIF. It's a, catastrophe. It's a kind of insurance. Let me not use all the big terminology. It's an insurance. You can activate it and they would pay out because the government is paying in and that kind of stuff. So it's 118 million EC. That's 48 million US. Also from the United Nations, some $9 million. And from the European Union, I think it's about what, €500,000. And from another 2 or 3 organizations, $1 million or so, a couple things. We're getting money, we're getting resources, and more organizations will come on board to help in many different ways. You're going to hear something from the Caribbean Development Bank. You're going to hear something from the World Bank. You'll hear, Grenada going to rebound. We're going to get the resources required because our beloved Prime Minister has operated, has done this well, managed this well, led from the front with this crisis and handle it well. We see regional leaders coming in solidarity, visiting Carriacou, unheard of, right? Unheard of. In fact, when Ivan passed and devastated Grenada, we did not see in a matter of days regional leaders, so much regional leaders going to visit and, no. But we are seeing that today. The Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Jean JP, right? The Prime Minister of, is it Anguilla, Antigua, St. Kitts? Somewhere up there, St. Kitts, I think. Somewhere up there, right? Dr. something. He was also here. I think it's 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them. All right? So they visited with our beloved Prime Minister. They went to Carriacou. Really great. Really great. And you see, with all of this, what you find, Keith Mitchell and the NNP, they're being isolated. They're in isolation. People are not willing to engage them. People are not willing to engage them. They're not even relevant in the scheme of things. And that is causing them to be very uncomfortable. So you saw Keith Mitchell, Peter David, Sheldon Scott, Clarice Modeste. I mean, they journeyed to Carriacou and P.T. Martinique, and they were not well received because people are saying, but wait, tell me this. Why you took so long to get into action and to understand that this thing is not about NNP or NDC, it's about Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique? Why you took so long? Right? People are understanding every single day that the NNP is all about power. All they want is power. They want to get into power and they want to see Grenada on its knees. On its knees. I forgot to mention also that the Caribbean Development Bank, they made an official visit to Carriacou and P.T. Martinique. So that I should mention here also. So I am saying, right, so let me give you the correct name here. So Roosevelt Skerritt from Dominica, that's the Prime Minister from Dominica. Dr. Terence Dew from St. Kitts and Nevis. Philip J. Pear from St. Lucia, along with Martinique's ambassador. They visited Carriacou and toured areas affected by Hurricane Beryl. All right. The PMs traveled through various areas on the ground in Carriacou and also viewed P.T. Martinique from the air. All right. So again, just saying they made that visit. So the NNP is becoming more and more isolated, right? And you can see it every single day. Regional leaders, international leaders, they're gravitating towards the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. So the NNP, they're playing politics with this whole disaster, right? They go up there and they thought that they would be well, embraced and people would raise them up or be excited like when they went to some parts in St. Patrick, Keith Mitchell there with some water in his hand drinking. The people need water. They need supplies. He didn't bring anything to them to help them in any way, shape, or form. St. Kitts, they would be sending some structural engineers to join the regional team, in Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique. So they're sending some structural engineers to Grenada, and of course with the efforts of SIDIMA. So we are getting quite a number of assistance. People are coming on board. Organizations are coming on board to help. And that is what I'm saying to people. all the TTV from Keith Mitchell and the NNP, they're insignificant in the scheme of things. People are not studying Keith Mitchell and NNP and all the monkey trick they're making. They are on programs, bumping their gum, but people are not perturbed. People are not even worried about that because, in fact, the whole conversation regarding the Chinese houses in Limle, in Karakou, came from the NNP. From the NNP. The NNP, they're the ones instigating all of this thing. They're the ones doing it. Because remember, Keith Mitchell opened his mouth regarding some concocted story about people going towards the shelter, or sorry, the housing scheme, the low-income housing scheme, or houses, the low-income houses in Limle and in Bouchejou during the passage of Hurricane Beryl, and they were turned away. You remember that concocted story? By police and so on. Because, you know, lawlessness was the order of the day under the NNP administration. They're lawless. They are designated shelters where people can go to weather the storm or to pass the storm, right? Or the hurricane. But instead, they waited and they wanted to go and storm the low-income buildings, low-income houses, to go and mash it up. That is what they really want to do, to mash it up. And then when they go in there to get them out, you have to go to court to get them out. That is what they want. But they're not able to do that. And they vex. So they're trying to make this politics. But if you read under Anne Augustine, for example, right? Because some idiot do some video and Anne Augustine post it. And these days you see Anne Augustine posting a lot of things from the opposition forces. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. We're observing what's going down. Anna, I think it's Anna Augustine, right? But under the comment section, just go in the comment section. Just go in the comment section, you realize people are not having it. People are not siding with the individual. So all these propaganda, all these concoctions, all this misinformation that they're putting out there, they're not getting anywhere with it. They're not controlling the narrative because people realize that the government is trying. People realize that the different volunteer groups and so they're trying. They're trying their best to help the people of Karakou and Petit Martinique and St. Mark and St. Patrick. And people are observing that. We're getting assistance from all corners and it's reaching the people that it's supposed to reach. So let us keep at it. I'm very observant, you know, I follow nearly everything that's happening around this place. If you underestimate me and what I do, well, something wrong with you. So I'm saying all you need to do is observe. So the Anna Augustine page, you realize that the NNP, the machinery is trying to utilize that page in many different ways to get certain nasty things out there with the hope that they're going to smear and destroy the good name of our beloved Prime Minister and the team. But they have not been successful to date. They have not been. All right? But let me say this. They're trying to cause anarchy and chaos in the society. And they're using this disaster to do that. But they have not been successful to date. The opposition forces. You just check it out. Check it out. They have not been successful. Because people realize that the volunteers and the government, they're trying their best. They start something with the Samaritan Purse, all the talk and all the nonsense there, and they have not been successful.
In Karakou and Petit Martinique, a contingent of soldiers from the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force under the auspices of the RSS. We also have 8 soldiers from the Defense Force of Guyana. These 8 soldiers form part of an advanced team that is there to assess the state of buildings in Karakou and to provide support with the relief and distribution of food and other supplies. We expect additional soldiers from Guyana to come up, we hope, by the end of the week. The initial task would be to assist us with identifying large buildings, whether they be privately owned or publicly owned, that can be repaired temporarily to ensure that we have additional accommodation for relief workers and for citizens of Karakou and Petit Martinique. We need to appreciate this is the start of the hurricane season, and therefore simple things like rainfall is going to cause considerable inconvenience to the citizens there. And we need to ensure that we have at least temporary accommodation that many of them can use should we find ourselves in a situation with prolonged rainfall or, for that matter, prolonged heat. And so the idea here is to make sure that we can identify these large centers, whether they be schools, churches, or other private residences that we can temporarily fix so that we know we have a place of shelter for citizens of Carriacou and Petite Martinique if necessary, and for persons who are coming to do relief work. We will start this process immediately. It will be a combination of private contractors in Carriacou, contractors from Grenada who have gone up to help, as well as reliance on the soldiers who are currently in Carriacou and the soldiers who are to come. The government will spare no resources in ensuring this effort takes place, because we want to ensure, as we prepare for the coming months ahead in this hurricane season, that should we face another weather system, that there is the opportunity for citizens in Carriacou and Petite Martinique to find shelter.
Yes, so again, that's our beloved Prime Minister, and he's working around the clock with the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, people of St. Patrick, St. Mark, and international and regional partners, donor agencies, volunteers, groups, just name it. That is what you want to see in a leader. He's leading from the front, and I really love that. We need to give him thumbs up where that is concerned. So things are happening for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. I need to tell you also that the passport
Office has confirmed that printing of passports with a 10-year lifespan has begun. The government of Grenada recently amended the passport bill, giving the Grenadian passport a validity of 10 years to individuals 18 and over. Head of the Immigration and Passport Office, Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP Elian Purcell, updated the GIS on Monday. The department, he says, began receiving applications last week. He provided details on what's currently happening at the Passport Office.
Today we have started actually printing the passport that are valid for an extended 10-year period. However, we started taking applications from last week. We have extended the waiting period for that passport by 5 days. So it's 5 business days for that particular, because of the volume of the intake. And we were not able to process due to the hurricane. And we had a delay as well because of the hurricane in actually deploying the upgraded software to be able to process the passport. So today we have worked along with the developers of the system, and we are able to successfully deploy the system, or the upgrade to the system, and we have printed the first set of passports today.
ASP Purcell said they have plans going forward, which is to keep the 5-day extended period until they are able to work on the applications that were made earlier.
Going forward, we would want to keep the extended period of 5 days until we are able to resolve all of the backlog, or those that have been waiting, because we have taken in a substantial amount of applications. So we want to knock them out, and then we'll come current again, where we'll be issuing in 3 business days, as we are accustomed to.
The Immigration and Passport Office, he says, will continue to provide exceptional service to the country and ensure a smooth flow during the process.
There is an additional security feature to the extended life of the passport, and also internally on the document itself, we have made some security changes too. We have not seen any foreseeable major challenges as it relates to our processes. Our internal processes remains very robust, mindful of security, and we want to assure the public that we'll continue to produce a very high quality passport for the state of Grenada, and we'll take all precautions to guarantee the safety of the Grenada passport.
Yes. So thank you very much, ASP Puzzle there, doing a fantastic job at the immigration department. And they have always stood out. All right. They have always stood out in terms of the way they operate business, how efficient they do business. They've always stood out. So again, I want to applaud them. And look, our beloved Prime Minister made it very clear that this is what he's going to do. His team, we will make the passport 10 years. And here we are. And that is why people have confidence and they can trust this administration. What they say they're going to do, they're going to do it. And we have seen that over and over. And these things could have been done under the NNP administration. Remember, the passport was 10 years before. And they brought it down to 5. All right? The NNP. There are so many little things that could have been done under the previous administration. They just didn't do it. They never had the foresight. They never had the vision to do it. But we're seeing it being done successfully so under this administration, which is great. Which is great. So we have to continue to remain focused, keep our eyes on the prize. A lot of solidarity is coming in from so many corners.
Passport Office has confirmed that printing of passports with a 10-year lifespan has begun. The government of Grenada recently amended the passport bill, giving the Grenadian passport a validity of. Passport Office has confirmed that printing of passports with a 10-year lifespan has begun. The government of Grenada recently amended.
The piece I wanted to play was a piece speaking to solidarity on from different organizations and so on for Grenada, but I just couldn't get that. I want to say to you out there, the NNP will always play politics. That is who they are. They cannot help it. And they will do anything in their power to derail, in my belief, derail the recovery process for a lot of people in the country. So all this misinformation, all this concoction of falsehood, false information, they're putting together and throwing it out there. They're hoping to create anarchy and chaos, in my belief, in this country. They are not successful to date. But again, we have to be aware of that, because all organizations, they're working through NADMA. But for them, they want to work for themselves because they still believe. Keith Mitchell, in my humble opinion, he still believes he is the leader, or in charge. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's sad, but the NNP missed a good opportunity. The day after Hurricane Beryl, they should have engaged the government and publicly state that they are going to work together with the government to rebuild, to build back better Carriacou and PT Martinique, St. Patrick and St. Mark. And they would be putting all hands on deck towards that. It is not about NNP and NDC now. It's about country. They missed that opportunity. But instead, Keith Mitchell said, well, if they ask, so you want them to come and ask and beg and plead to, who is Keith Mitchell? Right? They missed that opportunity. Because that is what Grenadians wanted. We have a renewed sense of patriotism and love for our country and so on. We want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Grenadians wanted that. They wanted to see that level of unity. But they realized the NNP playing politics. You listen to the talk show programs and so on, and you realize the direction they go in. You understand the point? Because all they are interested in is politicking and getting votes. Grenadians are not interested in that now. So as a result, their surrogates and pundits and so on would continue to create controversy, problems. See how one went in the housing scheme in Limle and Carriacou, did a video and used all kind of obscenities, all kind of nasty words and so on in that video because they're hoping to create controversy, but they're defeating themselves. That is exactly what they're doing because that video caused people now to dislike their motive and the whole idea of this low-income houses and so on. This thing kick out of the door now. People are even studying them with that again, just by that action. Just by that action. And you see it with the Samaritan Post controversy that they've created. People are angry with them because Samaritan Post is not political. It's a church-based organization. And they walk all around the world. And not because you are walking with the Samaritan Post, it means that you could get them here. It doesn't mean that. And then you have people like Brenda Batiste, and we know where their political allegiance lies, right? You just look at their posts. I follow all what's going down on social media. So they posting all kind of stuff about, Devon Rocher and that. So because you're working with Samaritan Post, it means that you have the authority to get them here. It's just stupid. Dotishness at the highest level. Dotishness. Samaritan Post came here after Hurricane Ivan. Where was Devon Rocher? He was involved in that? No. It's just nonsense. They work through church-based organizations, churches and so on. That's what they do. And they're doing a fantastic job. They're not interested in the internal politics of any country. Devon Rocher ran for NNP and he was badly beaten by the old man, may his soul rest in peace, my good friend Dennis Lett. He was badly beaten. Right? He ran for the NNP. And these people cannot take out and hide the political hats, It is sad. So you have the Brenda Batiste and all the others there. And that is why when I see these people on national platforms like GIS and others, when you have national events and so on, where they get in a blind, they've been featured and I just get angry, really angry, blue, because that is not what we voted for. You understand me? You have to know your friends and also know your foes, your enemies politically. Know who for you and who against you. If you don't know that, you're going to end up in problems. Because once you make your enemies comfortable, they're going to make you uncomfortable. A word to the wise. So I've been following what's going down. So not because you're working with an organization, it means that you could get them here. You don't have the authority to do so. You don't. They deal with governments to get into any country. You can't just pick up and just come to a country so. And as they indicated, they have been given real assistance from the government, and they thank the government officials for doing so. All right? That's important. So all this controversy that the NNP creating, that's the NNP surrogates and pundits and so on, they're unnecessary because Grenadians would never go back to this barbaric period, this regressive period of NNP. NNP was there and we did not innovate, we did not advance, build and advance in any transformative way. Same old, same old, same old, same old. Same old. Right? So I am saying, look, I follow what's going on social media. And I know those NNP activists. I know those surrogates and pundits, all of them. I know them very well. I have been here long enough to know them. They're in the media, right? All you need to do, go under some of them comments Go under the comments. They post something, look at the comments. And who commenting? The Linda Streaker, the Emlyn Pay, just go under them. So I'm not just looking at the post. I go and look at the comments. That's where you get the insight. You get to know what's going down. So in the media, you have a lot of NNP operatives and activists and so on within the media, within the business community, within the labor movement in the country, within the churches, we can go on and on and on and on, right? On and on and on. The police force, we can go on and on. Look, for example, Keith Mitchell, Peter David, Clarice Modeste, Sheldon Scott, and others, they went up to Carriacou, right? Who vehicle a particular individual who was sent up to Carriacou to do some work whose vehicle he was in? All right? Who were the police officers around these same individuals? Just between Mohammed and right around the way they're doing some cook. Who were around them? When they went to Petit Martinique and Cox was drinking something. Who were the people around there? So, you see, they believe that we don't know what's going down. Huh? But I am more grounded than a lot of people in this politics. I know what's going down. So they went up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The people who are around them, talking about officials and so on, don't underestimate. I know what's going down. All right? I know fully well what's going down. I don't do things by guess. Because I have photos, I have videos of conversation with these people in Carriacou. I'm telling you. And I have photos of them every stop they made. We get photos and so on, and videos. And you see certain officials, certain people around them. And you know already what's going down. See, it's not by guess. So we know the politics, we know what's happening and what they're trying to achieve. But our beloved Prime Minister has always been 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of them. 10, 20, 30 steps ahead of them. You realize that? Just observe. Things are going smoothly. He's not interested in the petty politics and all the stupidness. No. Bring the relief and the assistance to the people. We're going to rebuild better than before and stronger. And he has been a statesman. And the CARICOM heads of government engagement or summit or meeting, that will still take place here in Grenada because it's important at this particular time. Can't cancel it. Very good. I love that. So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Take good care. Have a wonderful day. But before I wrap up, I want to encourage the Spice Mass Corporation and the CEO. You need to do better. You hear me? Something you all are not doing right that's killing the Carnival vibes. And take it from me. I want to encourage the CEO of Spice Mass Corporation and the board of directors. You are doing something wrong. It's killing Carnival for 2024. You hear me? Something you're not doing right. Go back to the drawing board. You're doing something wrong. And if you have your religion and your belief, once you occupy that seat, that should be removed immediately. You hear me? If you don't like to see people in tongue, dancing and parading and doing the carnival thing, don't get involved. Because this thing has nothing to do with you personally and your belief and your religion and all your nonsense. You are killing the carnival. You are killing the carnival. Yes, Hurricane Beryl affected Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, but it affected Union Island, Bequia, Mystic, all of the islands, and St. Vincent too, and they still have the thing. Come on. Something not right with this whole carnival organizing and so on this year. You're killing the thing, and in many instances, you're putting your damn foot in your mouth and saying all kind of stupidness and releasing all kind of nonsense. Postponing this, pushing back this, canceling this, doing all kind of rubbish. The first blunder was with the foreign artists and who. While your gesture, your move was sometimes months before you could do that. Months before. And sometimes you'd have to say certain things. You could speak to the promoters and say, this is what we're giving you the incentive for local artists and so on. Yes, you could bring your foreign artists here, but we'll charge you a little more. But for the local artists, we giving you a reduction, a deduction, reducing it, and so you got to work the thing right. Something not right with this Spice Mass Corporation. Something not right. Something is not right this year, and they got to fix this damn thing. Because I am in different circles and I'm listening to people, ordinary people. 2024, it's a mess so far. Started off as a real mess. A real mess. Spice Mass Corporation, you need to get your acts together. From the CEO go all the way up. This thing is not just pan. It is more than that. You hear me? And that's all I would say in the wrapping up of the program today. I have more to say, but just a word to the wise. Something not right. And not because of the passage of Beryl, you're going to use that as an excuse to mess up the whole thing. No. No, sir. All right? The state machinery, they need to work to continue doing your stuff. All right? Something ain't right. Something not right with that whole Spice Mass Corporation and how things are going there. It doesn't fit in so well. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Take good care. Peace and love. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight